Good evening, happy Saturday night, people. It's boiling. It's boiling in the shed. Hope you're enjoying this oppressive heat. If it's your thing, I don't know what you're seeing it myself. I was dying earlier. Chris, how's the heat in your shed?
I've got a fan, mate. That's how hot it is here. I'm literally holding it in my hand, blowing it in my face. It's bloody hot, really, really hot. Yeah. It's hotter in here than it is outside, actually. I prefer to do it outside, but a bit naff.
Yeah, it is actually. It's 24 outside, 28, nearly 29 inside. Bloody hell.
Yeah, I've got my door open. I'm thinking of putting my fridge door open as well, just to keep it cooler in here, because I don't have aircon.
God, bloody hell. Right, so good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining. Good evening, everybody in the chat as well. Right. What have you been up to over the weekend,
Adrian? Well, I've done my backing last night, as you know. No. Yeah, because I don't know. I don't know if you get this with your cabin, your man shed or man cave, you want to call it. But when it gets hot, the wood kind of warps a little bit. So I had to change and readjust all my hinges, and they're double glazing doors. So I lifted it all up, and I think I've tweaked the nerve. So yeah, it's been causing me a bit of problem today. So I've not really been doing much, to be honest. I've been pretty much lazing around, sitting in the sun. And I think, do you know what? Probably around about since 4 o'clock this afternoon, I've been watching Live Aid 1985. It's been really nostalgic, mate. They're playing the whole of Live Aid on BBC Two. It's really good. Really, really good.
Very quick one. I just want to say, Randy's just said in here, what happens is a short I took down. I wasn't really happy with it. Got to be very careful with those things, right? So I took it down. I'm going to talk about that later. It's the last item on the show tonight, right? Because as I said on that little clip, right, I was about halfway through reading it. Wanted to get to the end and really gather me thoughts, read what other people had to say about it. But I'm reporting it later. I'm going to fucking bore you for ages about, new laws, but I will tell you the nice bits, right? The good bits. And I can't find any bad bits, to be fair. But anyway, so thanks for that, Randy. I've only ever done that, deleting video, putting them up and deleting them. I've been on YouTube 5 years. I think I've done it about 4 or 5 times. Every time I do it. Where's that video go?
Yeah.
You asked me last night as well, didn't you? Where's it gone?
Yeah, I did. I wondered where it went. Someone messaged me on TikTok, actually, and said, where's Gary's video gone? So I don't know. So I messaged him and find out. But yeah, I've only done it once. Well, actually, I've done it a couple of times, but it's mainly because I've had some idiots on there just posting stupid comments. I thought, what's the point?
No.
Take it down.
No, with me, it's always a little bit. Well, I wasn't happy with the quality of it for a start, and I was a bit sloppy with my words. But I'll do better this time. I'll do better.
I've got to be honest with you. I'm not digging you out here, Gal, but it's a bit of a funny angle that you're filming yourself at. I don't know. It looked like something happened. Something went a bit wrong with you. I don't know.
Well, there was that as well. I didn't like the look of it.
It wasn't aesthetically pleasing to the eye, mate. Sorry to say, it didn't look like you, like normal Gary.
Fucking hell. I don't even come on these shows, take abuse, I don't get anywhere. Right. So, headlines tonight. So we're going to do a comprehensive roundup of transfers. Don't you worry about that. Comprehensive. Then we'll talk about Nayef Aguerd, the resting bitch face that he seems to have brought back to the London Stadium. Lucas Paqueta. Is he staying? Is he going? Is he guilty? Is he innocent? Who knows? We shall discuss that. And finally, like I just said, the new rules that are about to be inflicted, and that's what it is, inflicted on Premier League clubs to the delight of the fans. I'm sure you will agree afterwards, right? So I've found that deeply interesting. I do not sit there and read, political bills, right? This is 134 pages. Before I stopped last night, I actually got to page 80, I think, because every page I turned, I found something more that I liked. If you're into that kind of shit, yeah, you know what I did today? I said to Gemini, please summarize this bill for me, which is what I should have said last night, really.
How long did it take you to get through all of that?
Fucking summarized it down to 2 pages, right? 2 very, very nice pages that was bang on with what I'd read. It picks out as well. It's just
but you said you read what around about 80 pages last night. I mean, Jesus, that's quite a lot.
Yeah, but it's quite loosely. It's laws, so it's not like full pages of text, right?
Yeah.
It's headings and subsections and God knows what, so clauses. But anyway, it was. Usually, because I do that quite a lot in work, like reading contracts and stuff like that, and working with lawyers, and it's usually quite dull. But this time, I actually found it quite interesting because it was a topic I was really, really interested in. Right, so I wouldn't have done it otherwise. Yeah. So thank you as well to everybody who left some lovely comments from the Friday show. There were loads of them. I spent about 2 hours responding to them last night. If I responded to you in a slightly harsh way, misread the comment.
Gal, sorry, just to interject there, mate. I can't really hear you. I don't know if something's going on with your mic. I don't know if anyone in the chat can kind of confirm that or not. Yeah, no, you just went really, really bitty, like in and out, and I don't know if that was me or if it was your.
Can you hear me now?
I can, clear, loud and clear.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, right. So yeah, thanks to everybody who left some really nice supportive comments in the chat yesterday. And that was in the comment section on the Friday video. Really, really nice to see. Kind of washed away all the trolls in that video. There was a few, deleted 1 or 2, but left most of them there because they were pretty insignificant. One guy who popped in to say, "Where's the happiness gone?" and he cut and pasted that tweet in about 3 different comments threads. And some people are so sad, so desperately sad. Yeah. So also, this is a live show, and don't be shy, get involved. The live chat's there for a reason. We got our head bouncer, Mean Claire, in the show tonight. She'll be looking for people to boot out. Bodger's on lookout duty. So yeah, if you're a bit worried about going to chat, and you're not, that they like to keep it a nice place to be, right? Bad people don't hang around very long in there, or not bad people. That's a harsh thing to say, but abusive people. Let's say that, right? So please, could you subscribe to the channel? We don't ask for payment for anything we do. So that is sort of payment in kind, if you like. In fact, I'll put it this way, Chris. We don't ask for money. We just ask for love. That's all we ask for, isn't it?
Love and likes, man.
No,
love and likes. Yeah. That's all it is. That's all it is. Yeah, it's not much. I think a big thing with the whole like, though, is typically because a lot of people don't subscribe. They don't. Well, not necessarily they don't subscribe, but they don't actually have a YouTube account, which means that they can't subscribe, and consequently they can't like. So yeah, but if you are subscribed, or even if you do have a YouTube account, liking always helps. It really does. It costs nothing, but it does genuinely help the channel. It really does.
By the way, the biggest group of people who watch YouTube now watch it on their tellies, right? Because it's kind of replacing TV, and throughout swathes of America and stuff like that. And this is a common problem: usage of the app on the TV, because you get all sorts of different remote controls and different things and different that. YouTube know this is where their market is gone, and they're reinventing that bloody that TV app for all the different TVs. So they're going to make it much, much simpler to subscribe, to like, and all that sort of stuff. So it will get better. In the meantime, if you can't figure it out, because it's clunky on my telly, right? You have to kind of press the up arrow, go across, find the menu, and eventually you find it's bloody difficult. But if you can't figure it out on your telly, if you've got YouTube on your phone, just subscribe in there if you wouldn't mind. Give the video a like and all that. That would be the most decent of you. So I think we'll get on with the show, Chris, shall we?
Crack on, mate. I know you've got a heavy agenda, so
got a lot to talk about. So Nayef Aguerd, there was a beautiful picture that I haven't got to share with you of him with his resting bitch face, being forcibly returned to West Ham, stating to whoever will listen now that he's in no rush. He will not be rushed. It's like, well, we're in a rush, mate. We need to build a squad, and that may or may not include you. Could include you if you're interested. Do you want to commit to the club? I don't know. But anyway, listen, he always looks a bit grumpy anyway. I don't think I've seen him smile that often. So I won't read too much into it, and I will not judge him until I know. I will judge him if he decides he wants out. I won't judge him if he decides to stay. In fact, I will. I'll judge him a good old chap who's decided to help the club out, right? How about you, Chris? What do you think of Nayef Aguerd?
I mean, I sent you the picture, didn't I, earlier? I think I'm kind of holding judgment on him at the moment because, I mean, it appears based on what the media are saying that he wants out. Maybe he does. There might be some truth in that. But yeah, I think until that happens, he's got a West Ham shirt on at the moment. He's training with West Ham. Maybe Graham Potter's going to, I don't know, outline what his plans are moving forward, and maybe he's going to be a big part of his plans. But, we don't know, Gal. We don't know. So I think as long as he's got a West Ham shirt on, so yeah, but I mean, he did look a bit miserable though. That's why I sent that picture around to you earlier. I mean, I think he's walking onto the plane as if to say, "I really don't want to be here." But you know what? You can misconstrue what you see. Of course you can. I mean, not being funny, you can do screenshots of me, and I look pissed off all the time. Probably am actually, to be fair. Probably am, but you know what I mean though. We don't know is the truth. So I suppose, I'm holding judgment on him for the time being. We'll see how things play out over the course of the next couple of weeks, but don't know. I want him to stay, mate. I do want him to stay because he's a good player. He's he's a good player, and I think he would suit the Potter style as well. I do, and he'll be the only centre back we've got that's got decent pace.
Yeah, he's 29. He's made for, you know, playing the ball out the floor and on the floor and bringing it out of defence. That is what his game is all about, right? He should be a good match, and he was a top defender before he joined us, and we tried to use him the same way we use Zuma. So let's see. I sort of agree with that, to be honest. Sick of sullen players who have no commitment. I do think that's why I reacted to it, to be honest, Andrew. You know, they should be careful. You know, when they're being photographed by the media, got cameras shoved in their face. For God's sake, you know, make an effort, mate. Make an effort. But anyway, you're on comment duty tonight, anyway, Chris. So I won't.
I am just looking at the player at the moment.
Yeah, so that's Aguerd. The next one is the old favourite, El Hadji Malik Diouf of Slavia Prague. Again, this one I think will happen. I still think it. There was lots of reports in the last couple of days saying, oh, no, West Ham have ruined it. West Ham have ruined it. It's all over. No, it's bubbled back up again today. It's going to happen. Palace dropped out. That's the biggest indicator that it's going to happen, right? I just think it's a matter of time. And honestly, this deal should have been signed up. It should have been closed down within a couple of days. It was an easy deal to do. They wanted 21 million. We offered them 17, as we always do. It'll end up being somewhere in the middle. But we could have closed that gap already, right? But we couldn't until we sold Kudus, I guess.
Is this true, by the way, what Randy's saying here, that Monaco are also in for him as well? I've not heard of that link.
I haven't heard the one about Monaco, but, you know, maybe. I think really, if you've got a choice of French League or Premier League, there's only one choice you're going to make, if I'm being honest. You know, whether it's glamorous Monaco or what, and it is tax-free down there. It's an added bonus, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know where Monaco finished in League either, so maybe they could have European football, which could be a bit of a call. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I suppose it could be, but they're not going to win anything. You know, neither are Tottenham, but Kudus went there, didn't he? Hey.
But let's be fair, though, Gal, we're not either. So, you know, I don't necessarily think
but we
it's
are
a straight
West
up choice.
West Ham.
We are West Ham. We are West Ham. But Steve says as well, I know Leeds are in for him. We said that the other day. So I can't see him choosing Leeds over West Ham. If he did, then something's seriously wrong.
London's a big pool. The Premier League's a big pool. You've got to say, even though I despise that stadium inside, it does actually look pretty good on telly. It's a good platform for players, right? So I don't know. Andy, how dare you be on a Leeds shirt by Wednesday? Oh, no, I'm not buying it. The one that we're supposed to be...
Champions League, mate. Champions League, Monaco.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to go Leeds before us or Monaco. No,
definitely not. But I can imagine going Monaco before us.
If he's money motivated, which he probably is, it depends. If he wants to raise his profile and earn even more money, he'll come to London and play for us in the Premier League, because Champions League don't really matter as far as exposure. You're going to get more exposure in the Premier League, I'm afraid. That's the way it works. You do well in the Premier League against you're going to be playing the best Champions League teams in the Premier League. That's the thing.
Well, it's what, I mean, I don't want to talk about his name too much on that, but it's what Kudus did. I mean, he's playing Champions League at Ajax, came to West Ham, so prime example.
Yeah, 100%. They were going through money troubles at the time as well. Yeah. So Arnel Martinez, the 5'10" right back, centre back, from where's he from? Girona. So direct negotiations underway between West Ham and agents, and fees shouldn't be a problem. They said, what is that fee though? I don't know. 11, but the release clause is 14 million euros, 11.8 million quid. Right, he's 22 years old, 5'10", right back, centre back, probably more of a right back given the height. James McAtee, I just love this one. I love this one, which is why I included him in the thumbnail. There are a few on here that I really want, and this is one of them. I've kind of warmed to the idea, just looking into him a little bit and finding out what what he's all about and what kind of player he is, and he's a proper fit for Potter for a start. He's very slight. He's very skillful. Just a silky left-footed player, and I like a left-footed player because left-footers, Chris, as I explained before, we are a little bit more talented, a little bit more. You can feel the ball, you live the ball, right? You're part of the ball, you know.
Yeah, no, I like a left-footed player. My only worry with McAtee is the Nottingham Forest are going in for him. And
it's not in a minute.
Yeah, but hold up a minute. Nottingham Forest in the Europa League now, because Crystal Palace have obviously been demoted into the Conference League. So by default, Forest have now got Europa League, and they've also lost Morgan Gibbs-White to Spurs. So that is exactly the position they need to, hire for recruit for.
While I agree, and while Forest did do very well last year for sure, they did tail off at the end big time. I think if I had a choice of West Ham in London or Nottingham Forest in Nottingham, I think, you take away the history of Forest and look at them like for like they are now. I'd go to us. I would. And he's this is a, if this kind of shows an intent, if he was to land a few of these players, it shows an intent that he's trying to largely build a young British team, and that's good for a number of reasons. And surely he would want to be a part of that, wouldn't he? I mean, Nottingham Forest is just a collection of all sorts, isn't it? It's just like from here, there, and everywhere.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think that's quite a subjective way of looking at it because you're a West Ham fan. I'm just trying to be. Well, of course, you're gonna be biased, and I think again, I always try to look at things fairly, objectively. I think if I'm McAtee, I'm thinking, well, this gives me a platform and an opportunity to play in European football, play in the Europa League. Not in Forest.
I think what it boils down to is what motivates them, and we don't really know, do we? We can't assume that everyone's got the same motivation. We know that, for instance, as Stan says in here, Jesse Lingard, he went to Forest for fucking an extra $5,000 a week or something. It was the biggest mistake he ever made. It was ridiculous. It was
down to money, wasn't it?
He flushed his career down the pan by doing that. He could have come here, earned $5,000 a week less, and probably got a 5-year contract.
Yeah, we could have done. He could have been a bit of a superstar for us if he carried on the form he had, in his first season with us. But
bad advice.
I think the big mistake for him was actually going back to Manchester United, because he could have come to West Ham the following season. He didn't. Barely played, and then he went to Forest, didn't he? And totally ineffective.
Why, Chris, is McAtee seems to be carrying a value of 25 million? Is that with a buyback? It must be, mustn't it?
I think it is. Yeah, I did read about that. Because I think Man City do rate him. And correct me if I'm wrong here. Maybe you've got the stats up here, but I think he was on loan for a season, like the season before last. He had a relatively good spell in the Championship. Went back to City. I don't know, off the top of my head, I think he scored like 3 goals last season for Manchester City.
Yeah.
He is a player that they rate, but regardless, he's not necessarily a player that they can put into their first team. And I think he's ready to be playing first team football on a regular basis. So I think they're going to reluctantly have to let him go, which means a buyback would make sense from their perspective.
A lot of these players we're talking about, they play for top teams who have got established, very, very large first team squads, and they're challenging for top honours. And when push comes to shove in those big games in the Premier League, in the Champions League, where they're all playing each other, there's very little room for error, and they tend to rely on the proven, right? The proven. So even though they're in that, they're playing for a side like that, their opportunities will be limited. And I guess the perfect scenario for like a Liverpool or a Man United, we're going to talk about Liverpool in a minute, or a Man City, not Man United, they're not in the same camp, would be for us to make a player good for them and sell them back, right? Get them the finish line.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think he's not going to.
No, Tony, no, I will not take off my rose-tinted glasses because they're always on. They're always on. I'm hoping for the best, Tony. I'm an optimist because I don't see, as a West Ham fan, be too depressing to be a pessimist, right? Far too depressing. I've always been an optimist. Whenever I don't know about you, Chris, but whenever I've been driving to the ground, I don't care who we're playing against, I secretly think we might win this.
Oh yeah, I do. I mean, I've come up with some stupid predictions over the years, as you know. I always do, because I think that's the beauty of being a West Ham fan, is that we've always kind of felt that it doesn't matter how maybe kind of bad our team is. We always felt that there was always an outside opportunity or chance that we'd beat the opponent. So yeah, of course, I always feel like that, and it kind of makes me feel. And I know like loads of fans will disagree with me, and I suppose when you look at it on paper, you look at our squad versus all the other squads in the Premier League. Of course, we do look a lot weaker. Of course, we do, but there's this weird thing in my head, and I might be completely wrong here. I might be. Logic tells me I might be, but we could have an outstanding season, Gal. We could surprise everyone, because sometimes when the chips are down, and when the expectation is low, because I think all West Ham fans right now, their expectations are pretty low. They don't expect West Ham to finish top 10. I think they're thinking that West Ham might kind of be playing in and around the relegation zones. Imagine if we do the polar opposite. This could, in a weird kind of way, conversely take the pressure off the players, because they're thinking, you know what, they've already written us off. So we can go out there if we've got nothing to lose. You don't know how this plays out.
I think there are a couple of different things, right? It's first of all down to quality and talent. Will we have the quality and talent? The system will work if the players can adapt to it. So if you've got quality and talent that can adapt to the system, then you could end up with a decent season. That is a best case scenario. That's if every player we get comes in, hits the ground running and fits the system, and there's no delays, right? That's the thing, right? I get tired with pushing people back about Potter, because honestly, it's not worth it. I think that, you know, it is down to Potter now to prove and win those people over. There are certain people who won't be won over no matter what he does. They make their mind up, and I'm right. I'm always right. You can't prove me wrong. I made my mind up months ago. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. And I personally, I'm not like that. I don't know how people can be like that. You know, surely if you think someone's rubbish and they do really well and win a load of games and impress you change your mind, don't you? Because it's not important being right, is it? It really ain't. And when it comes to these, someone said just now about the he won't join us, McAtee. Got much chance of him joining us as him joining anyone else. No, you don't know the player. I don't know the player. We don't know his agent. We don't know his situation. We don't know his ambition. We don't know what motivates him. We don't know who Man City want to loan him to. We don't know if Potter wants him. We don't know if he fits into the Potter system. There are so many variables at play here, right? But you can't just hold us up as West Ham and say we finished 14th and we're on the way down. We've got a shit manager, you know, no ambition, crap owners, and everything else. So therefore, they're going to go join fucking Wolves or something, because it doesn't work like that. Every player is an individual. So, and I won't dress it up for you. Everything we're reading here is transfer gossip. None of it's fact. And literally nobody who runs a YouTube channel has the inside track on what Sullivan is actually thinking, what Potter is actually thinking. This is us as fans talking about what we read in the media. We're not claiming to be an ITK, even though Chris clearly is, right?
Well, you know, I don't want to show off, but I've had a few very accurate ones before anyone else recently.
You have.
Yeah. I have. Yeah. But I go back to what I was saying before around expectations, because I don't have any expectations of finishing top 10. Absolutely not. But, you know, it kind of reminds me a little bit, and I know it's different kind of situations altogether, but when we got relegated, got promoted, and no one would have anticipated or expected us to finish ninth and get into an FA Cup final. But we did it against the odds. It did. I mean, but then that was exactly as you pointed out, Gal. That was when we signed certain players that they all fit into a system. Everything clicked perfectly for us, you know. And I think, you know, some of the likes of Yossi Benayoun and Rio Coca stepped up, and, you know, Harewood. But you know,
Chris, that window was just amazing. We got every part right, you know, and we had a certain amount of money to spend, not much, but the money he had to spend, he spent it so wisely, Pardew.
He did, yeah.
Can I just say, right, what Jim says here, that this is the way I feel, right? Harvey Elliott would be a dream signing. I don't think we have to pull any more of No Europe, unfortunately. I do think we have to pull because of West Ham, because we're London. And as I said, I'm horribly biased towards West Ham, and I always think that West Ham has got pull and is an attraction, and I don't like putting West Ham down ever. I will never see us as lesser than Brighton, Forest, Everton, all the others who would be Villa, all the others, they might consider, their fans would probably consider themselves big enough, but I don't, right? I never will. I don't consider us smaller than Spurs. No way, right? Yeah, they got a nicer ground, got a bit more money. Ain't better than us, right? I don't consider any club better than us. I've got to be honest, right? So that is coming from a very, very... Oh, look, here we go. Brooke Bonds. Yeah, stop putting negative shit up, Chris.
No, I'm not putting negative shit. I think
July. I'm just in their own misery, yeah?
What I'm trying to say here is, I think, I mean, this is a classic example. So no one's coming to West Ham. Really? Do you honestly think no one is coming to West Ham? It will happen. It will happen. We've just been waiting for the sale of Cadiz.
What do you think? Suddenly we've become not a Premier League team?
It's impossible. I mean, look, we have to sign players, and we will sign players. Whether they're the right players or not remains to be seen, but we will sign players. Make no mistake about it.
Yeah. We all want West Ham to do well, but look at the owners, right? Yeah, we hate the owners. We've never liked the owners. I really, really hate that. Don't like these ones. We'll come to them later, right?
Really? You never mentioned that before, Gal?
Really? I barely mentioned it over the years, have I? You know, because it was a new narrative a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it, right? It was newly invented by someone. But anyway, listen, you can't affect it. You can fucking moan about it. You can do what you like. We could dedicate 24/7 on this channel to it, right? It won't make an ounce of difference. You've just got to hope that there is somebody who's whispering in Sullivan's ear saying, if you do not get this transfer window somewhere near right, you could be going down. And that's your asset down the toilet, because it's very difficult to come up again. Right? This is not like last season.
No, it's very different. It's very different. A comment from Andrew here saying would not be shocked if he sees Dominic Calvert-Lewin or Callum Wilson rock up.
Well, I'm gonna talk about Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Dear God, right? Let's carry on, Chris, with the transfer link. So we've done James McAtee. Again, I would love him. This guy here, I wouldn't mind. Kieran Dewsbury Hall, 26 years old. Centre mid for Chelsea. I don't know why at 26. He's a decent player. He's energetic. Ex-Leicester, as you know. He's the sort of player we like. Decent fit in a pot system, but he's only around 17 million. And that's unusual for Chelsea, because they usually want a lot more than that, right?
Well, it's because he hasn't really played a great deal, Gal. He's surplus to requirement. So I don't think they necessarily can, or I don't think they're necessarily in a position of strength where they can put a higher transfer fee on him. So he probably is worth around that, in truth. I mean, I don't know about him, in all honesty. I don't know whether he's the answer. He's a decent player. I'm not going to say he's
better than JWP, right?
Yeah, but you're better than JWP, mate,
I'll tell you what, though. I was watching a bit of Gio earlier, and he said that's one player who really wants to leave, and I do too. I really want him to go. I really want him to go. You know what he is? He's a kind of meh footballer. He's neither one thing nor the other. I can see why Souček gets games. I can never see why ward-prowse gets games. He's played a lot of games for us now. He played a lot of games for Forest as well. He got dropped by both of us.
I think the reason he did get a lot of games for Escalo is because he's a very experienced Premier League player. We know that he did a job with regards to retaining the ball, but it was typically retaining it and passing it backwards or sideways. So maybe he suited a certain type of style of football that Potter was looking to play last season. Yeah, but I hope that's not going to be the style of play we're looking to play this season, because I like you. I don't really see the benefit of ward-prowse. I honestly don't. And when he goes further forward, he is a bit more. He does offer a bit more, but there's better options than him, in terms of an attacking midfielder. And as you said, like James McAtee is an example. I don't think. I mean, for me, like I actually do like Souček. I think he's. I do not want to see him leave. I don't. I know that he has his weaknesses, but I think his strengths out over. You don't want to start every game.
You don't want to watch Souček start every week. No way, right? But there are certain games where he's going to be really effective in a certain position, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
What I was alluding to with Jim's comment, because I've got to be honest, I only read the first bit, not the negative second bit, Jim. But anyway, it weren't that negative. But let me just say, dream, right? Why can't we dream? Why can't we dream? Are we suddenly not allowed to dream anymore? Are we not allowed to think that it might turn out all right this time? We know it ain't going to be amazing, brilliant, and everything else. But honestly, it might turn out to be just about acceptable and give Potter enough to do a decent job, right?
I don't get the narrative of digging out Potter at the moment, because I think that last season, the fact is, right, despite what anyone thinks of him, and I'm not saying I rate him at all, by the way, I'm really, really not, but he is our manager. It's not going to change anytime soon. So let's try and get behind him in the team. Like, surely that serves much more of a purpose.
People have made their mind up already, Chris, because they've got this unwritten rule where they say, right, I set the rules. This is like a random West Ham fan. I set the rules. I know when he's shit. He's had 12 games. Look at his stats. They're worse than Lopetegui. You get to the end of the season, they're better than Lopetegui. No one mentions the stats anymore, but they still retain the opinion that he's shit, right? I don't think he's shit at all. I think he cobbled together both Lopetegui and him. And honestly, I find myself defending Lopetegui all the time now, because I think this problem was created by what was left after Moyes. It was a terrible squad fit only for Moyes' style of football. Lopetegui doesn't play that style of football. He got a few players brought in, but never got a striker. So he didn't get the striker we wanted. So he didn't get the full complement to make his team, his ideas work. So they failed miserably, and it just went wrong. And there was a bad taste in everyone's mouth that he left behind. And then Potter comes in, he gets that team, and an Irishman who can't be bothered, and then a massive injury crisis. Coincidentally, after about 10 games, people forgot conveniently that injury crisis ever happened, and started saying, oh yeah, he's had 10 games. No, he didn't. He had fucking 6 without half his key players, right?
I agree with some of that. I agree with some of that because I think the legacy that David Moyes left wasn't great, right, in terms of the players that he left behind. But Lopetegui was a disaster, and the way that he played certain players, the formations, it was just an absolute mess. So I know where you're coming from to an extent, but you can't put all the blame on what Moyes left behind because I think other managers could have got better out of the players that he did leave behind.
What I blame is I blame us again buying players that we didn't need, because in reality we didn't need Somerville at the time, right? Did we? We didn't need him. He was a bench player to start with. He didn't walk straight into the team, right? He was excessive. Guilherme was excessive. We bought 2 players we didn't bloody need. We needed a big name striker. We got Fulkrug, who we all learned to love quite a lot actually, but they ballsed up that transfer window and gave Lopetegui nowhere near the tools he needed. He hardly played Somerville, right? He hardly played Somerville.
I got to be honest with you, I disagree with you on the Somerville thing because I think Somerville is going to be a player for us. I think he will be, Chris.
And
also,
you're contradicting yourself, though, Chris, because the other day you said we bought Kudus and we didn't need to buy him. I've got the same opinion of Somerville. Yeah,
but Somerville didn't cost the same amount of money as Kudus. Secondly, we kind of realised that Somerville was someone that we were investing for the future. I'm not saying that we and also we did need someone on the left hand side. Kudus was a right winger where we actually already had in my opinion, a better right winger, someone that's more effective at least in Bowen. So left hand side, we didn't have anything because we let go of Ben Rama and we were playing effectively Paqueta in an unorthodox position, playing on the left hand side. So I actually think that we did need a left winger. Whether or not Somerville was the right option, I still feel that was an area that we need to address along with a striker. So I don't think that was a bad decision, and I think with the Guilherme one, I mean, I don't understand why we always go for right wingers. It's a weird one, particularly when you've got, when at the time we had Kudus, we had Bowen, and then you signed Guilherme, who is a right winger. That doesn't make sense to me. So Guilherme, I think, was too much money spent on a player for the future. If you're going to do it, do it with maybe one, like i.e. Somerville, but not 2 or 3, because we needed players that were ready to go last season. Do you know what I mean?
I totally agree. And that was my point about Somerville. I don't regret getting Somerville with references comment. I really rate him. I thought he did really well when he came on. I'd love to see him given a regular berth on the left, and perhaps we'll see that now, right? But he won't be back till September anyway, so we've got to do something for the start of season because he refused to have surgery until it was proven that he needed surgery.
Might be sooner though. From what I'm hearing now, it may be sooner than what they originally anticipated.
But I think with bit of luck, we didn't get relegated. We've ended up with a couple of players in him and Guilherme who, they were both called one for the future. Even though he was like 23 or 22 or something, Somerville when he arrived, wasn't he? Or was he 21? I can't remember. But they were both called one for the future. And if you remember the way Loppe used him, he clearly didn't like him. He clearly didn't want him, right? So what went on there? Why did we sign players that the manager just weren't going to use? Because we've seen that before. When you do that, they do not get used. Moyes did the same. Every manager with any pride will do the same.
I think the answer to that is that wasn't a Lopetegui signing. That's why, But I do think that regardless, Somerville is a good player, and I think he's got huge potential. I think we've seen in glimpses that he can really offer and grow at West Ham. So I'm hoping that he gets the opportunity next season. Like Kat's saying here, I think hopefully he does get a position. I mean, Kudus at his position, but look, he was bloody awful for us last season. So
absolutely he did. But what I'm saying is that was ballsed up last summer, that transfer window. We needed to buy the players that Lopetegui wanted to change the system radically into how he plays. He needed his specific type of players to do that. The ones that he recommended turned out to be lemons, really, because it was Rodriguez, it was Soler, and it was Kilman. They were the 3 he was allowed. You could have done better with a 40 million for Kilman, let's be honest. He's worth 30 max now. So
just to address this comment here, Gal, anyone judging Guilherme needs to give their head a wobble.
I'm not judging Guilherme. I've been his biggest supporter. I had his picture on the wall.
Yeah, to be fair, you did. I mean, I'm not judging him either. I think
fucking hate that comment. Give your head a wobble. I really do. Go on, carry on.
I think he's one for the future. He is. So you can't really judge a player that's had relatively limited game time. As John is saying as well. Somerville let himself and the club down, but we'll come to it. I'm assuming, John, that you're referring to the fact of the injury situation, that he didn't actually get the operation done and just kind of, he could have come back a lot sooner. I'm assuming that's what you mean by that. As will Guilherme. I think they will both come good. I really, really do, because they are both talented players.
Honestly, Chris, somebody else could launch a, something to a campaign in support of Guilherme next week or something, and people would be saying I should support Guilherme. I had his picture on my wall with a light on it. No one could support Guilherme more than me, right?
He was your love child. I mean, you've gone through 2 love childs over the course of the last year and a half. One was Mavropanos, and then you kind of dumped him, and then you went to Guilherme.
Yeah,
I think you're still a Guilherme lover, aren't you?
Can I just read this, Chris?
Yeah.
No issues with knowing who we are. We are West Ham, and don't support the club to win. I do. I support the club to win. I don't expect to win. It ain't like a prerequisite to win, but I do support them and expect them to win. We support the club because we love the club. Bang on. But we sold our home on a promise. So natural to feel frustrated and angry. Yes, we will feel frustrated and angry about that until the owners finally exit the building, which hopefully won't be much longer. But while they're here, we've got to support the team because they are not the team. They are not the club. David Sullivan and Karen Brady are not West Ham Football Club. When I think of West Ham, I don't think of that ugly little git. You, Chris?
No, I don't. I think about the team and I think about the people. Yeah. I think about the fans. I think about the legacy. I think about everything that I grew up to become, to actually support West Ham in the first place, even though some of that's still not there. When you talk about the ground, Upton Park, and everything about that's for me is West Ham. But yeah, predominantly it's people because, as I said the other day, the ownership, they're only here temporarily. We're here permanently. Yes. So for me, they don't even really enter into my mindset. I mean, of course they do in the sense of I wish they weren't here, but we'll come on to that a little bit later. But I think no, it's always about the team. You just got to go there and tell them.
He's a seedier version of Terry Brown. I mean, nobody liked Terry Brown. Everyone hated Terry Brown. And what came before him was the ones who launched the bond scheme with the Kearns and co, right? Terry Brown came in to be like the front man for that and calm it down. So we've always had, think back to the 80s, think back to the 60s, think back to when we traded Martin Peters, World Cup winner, for, Jimmy Greaves and some money and whatever else. We've always done it. Think of the way we sold, nearly won the league, then sold McAtee and then sold Cottee. Think of the way, it was the last chance to make money before the Premier League was like, so we sold Rio Ferdinand to fund the stand. We've always done it. We've always done it. We've always had disappointing owners. The only ones I liked were the ones who ended up almost bankrupting us bankrupting themselves. That was why. And that was Magnuson and co. I actually really liked him. I thought he got the club. It was a shame. Shame his boss was a fraudster, right?
Can I just address this one here from RP Sports? Why ignore the Suchek and JWP question? I didn't. I think it was an accident that we moved on.
What is the question?
I think the question was something along the lines of, do you see them, do you think they should be starters in the middle of West Ham?
No, the answer. I think, Chris, you answer first, then I'll answer.
Well, I think it's a fairly rhetorical question because, we all know the answer to that, and that's the truth. And I think you all know the answer to this as well, RP Sport. There's no reason why them two should be starting in the middle of the park because it's not enough for us. It's been proven over the course of last season when they have been playing as a partnership. Yeah. You've got to get rid of one or the other. And if you're going to get rid of one, it's got to be JWP because I think Suchek offers us a little bit more, particularly with his goal scoring. He seems to have a knack of being in the right place at the right time. The only thing that we seem to be relying upon JWP for is that elusive free kick or a set piece. But aside from that, he's a backward sideways player. And I just don't see what he offers West Ham. So no, to answer the question, definitely not ignoring the question at all. We need someone else to replace JWP. Simple as that.
Yes. Honestly, that is why they're after all of these midfielders at the moment. There is no way that anyone could see. There's no way that Potter looked at JWP last year. He kind of looked in the cupboard. What did he have in stock? He had JWP, Suchek, Rodriguez and Soler. That was a fucking great choice. And then I demotivated Paqueta. And a Kudus who was just like looking bored. And Bowen, who was trying. At least with Suchek and Bowen, you had two triers who were going to, one scored, what he scored? 13, I think, Bowen, and he got 9. I think Suchek. Without him, we get relegated, right?
He's our second top goal scorer, yeah.
I wish people, because I know where this come from, because I was on the channel when it happened. They get called. What do they get called? I can't remember what they were called. JWP and Suchek. They get called fucking hell, Jedward. They get called Jedward, right? Oh, and that was and Jedward was something that was repeated ad infinitum. It probably still gets repeated now, as if Suchek and JWP are the same man, are the same player. They're both shit because they're Moisey's people, right? I agree with you about JWP, but you should not You should not bundle them two together. I don't agree with that. I do not agree with that. Treat Souček for the fucking loyal, superb contribution that he's made over the year, but the loyal servant. He loves the club. He's been here years. He's done a lot of good things for us. How can you bundle him in with JWP, this little lightweight geezer who we paid too much for, probably got as much value for money as we did out of Danny Ings, offered nothing, zero, took every fucking free kick and corner, and it was the wind-assisted one that I think was his best goal, wasn't it? So I think, how can you compare the two and their contributions? Yes, they're playing with each other in midfield, but for fuck's sake, I hope that never happens again.
Yeah, just to answer Dave's question here, when I said about JWP, I'm not saying he's not good enough to be playing for a top 15 club. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is he's not good enough to be playing. Well, I just don't want that partnership in the middle of the park. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's not a good enough player, because he's clearly proven that he is. He's an established Premier League player, but he doesn't suit our system, and I don't think he suits playing with Souček. I think if you had him with someone else at a different club, yeah, cool. So I think he's still a decent player, but I don't think he's right for us. Is my opinion.
Tony, I know it was his baby because I was on the channel when he created it, right? And it's been used ever since. I understand, still gets used now. But I never agreed that pairing those two together because you hate them both. I don't know how you could hate Souček. I just don't know. I don't know. And again, I'm not picking a fight with the other channel, right? I'm just saying people repeat this stuff, and they think of them as JWP is synonymous with Souček. And they're individuals with massively different contributions. It was Souček who won the header from the goal kick, nodded it down to Paqueta, who played the ball to Bowen, that won us a cup win. Just one example. It was him who scored the first goal when I was up at Man United, and I knew he got attacked by all the Man United fans last year, right? And Chris got blamed, right? He's done so many good things for us. But I do agree he shouldn't be starting every week, Souček. Forget JWP, sell him for all I care. Get rid of him.
We need him. We need him because we do not have the squad to actually let go of him. We don't. Yeah. And as I say, he does offer us something that we don't have right now, and that's the ability to score goals. He does seem to have the ability to be there at the right time at the right place. But this point here about who remembers when Souček got his head sliced open and got up a block. I mean, look, this guy has had so many scars, cuts, and grazes, and everything else you can imagine. He puts his head in where it hurts. So he fights for West Ham. He does, and that's a lot more than can be said for a lot of the other players that have been playing for West Ham for the course of the last couple of years, particularly last year. He puts his head in where it hurts. He has no hesitation about doing that whatsoever. So I totally agree with you.
When you think of the players we let go, and I know they're different positions and everything else, but when you think of the players we let go at the end of last season, Fabianski, Cresswell, Soufal, these players who gave so much sweat and blood for the cause. And then that's why I think the likes of Kudus wound me up so much last week, and I don't get wound up in Happy July because it's Happy July, right? So let's get back to talking about transfer links, because I don't know how we ended up on this. I think we've had a few people just throwing bombs at us, right? So we've had to respond. Nick, right, Chris, if this were to happen, you kind of in with this song. I'm sorry, Nick Jackson. Ooh. Yeah, you like that? He is for real. You remember?
Is that so? Yeah, mate.
Nick Jackson.
You think that's a possibility? Nicholas Jackson signing for West Ham?
No, I don't. But it could happen if the price was reasonable, because it's like 100 million they're quoting at the moment. 100 million Chelsea are quoting. There's no way he is worth 100 million, Chris.
No, I mean he's probably missed 100 million chances, mate. I mean, look, I think he's a decent player. I mean, he scored against us, didn't he? I remember when we had Alvarez.
Goals in 116 appearances over 3 years. That ain't bad.
Say that again. Sorry, how many?
43 goals in 116 appearances over 3 years for Chelsea when Chelsea was shit or not good.
It's very good. Yeah, it's very good. But for 100 million quid, absolutely not. I mean, it's almost a pointless story if that's what they're looking for, because we're never in a million years going to be paying for that. No way. We don't even have the money.
Strikers cost more anyway, but it'd have to be 50 or 60 million, and it would have to be in over 20 years, right? But no, I think it'd be like structured over. It'd be a kind of try before you buy deal, or maybe I don't know, just on loan for a season. But whatever it is, we just need bodies in. I don't care the structure of deal. As long as we can get a player in for the whole season and they're going to come in with the right attitude and they're going to be useful to us and they're going to score goals. I don't, you know very well, strikers, they're always going to want to score goals no matter where they go, apart from Evan Ferguson.
Okay, if there are no other teams going in for Nicholas Jackson and Chelsea genuinely do not want him, then it's kind of almost it's kind of an equivalent of, right. I'm not talking about quality of player, totally different players here. But when Andy Carroll joined West Ham, we were like, Jesus, this guy's like, he signed for Liverpool for like 45 million or something ridiculous. We got him on loan, and then we had an option, not an obligation, but an option to buy him. So I could imagine if we could strike up a deal like that, because it's similar circumstances. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying they're obviously totally different players, but it's relative to the times, right? Because back in 2014 or whenever it was when we signed Carroll, 15, 20 million is probably going to be the same as probably say 60 odd million nowadays, right? I don't know the exact, math around that. But yeah, I don't know. I'd be all for it, in truth. I would be all for it.
People accuse him of being shit and lazy. I don't agree. I think he makes some really, really good runs, especially against us. He misses chances, but his actual goal scoring record is pretty healthy. Like I just said, 43 out of 116 appearances, a goal every 0.37 games. That's very respectable for a young kid, isn't it?
Yeah. You do the math, Gal. You do the math. That's a goal a game, isn't
it? Yeah, we'll talk about.
Sorry, I always reference that Eddie Aluko quote. It still makes me laugh. The Eddie Aluko quote when she was talking about Richarlison. What was it like? I don't know, 19 goals in 40 games. She would do the math. That's about a goal a game, isn't it? What are you talking about? That's horrific. That's horrific, isn't it? That really is.
So on to the
I hope you're wrong, by the way.
Yeah.
I hope you're wrong about this. I heard rumours Arsene Lingard wants to return to West Ham. Not a chance in hell that's happening. Jeez, no way. He seems to be having a good time at the moment anyway. So
if he's available, there's only one place he goes. That's Merseyside. He goes to Everton, right? Moyes will still want him, that's for sure. Harvey Elliott, this is a star prize for me. I really like Harvey Elliott. I think he'd be so good for us. It'd be so good for us. I don't think we're going to ever manage to buy him outright because he's worth about 50 to 60 million, depending on what you read. But there is quite a lot of talk, including one that I mentioned earlier in the week from the Anfield media as well, the fan media, talking about a double deal of Harvey Elliott and Tyler Morton coming to West Ham, double swoop, as they call it, right? This is being reported in quite a few places now as talks are ongoing. Now, I don't know how true that is, but if we could get Harvey Elliott, again, we're allowed 2 loans domestically. If he could be one of them, if someone like Nick Jackson or one of the others could be one of them, I'd be all up for that. I don't, because of the fickle nature of football, you never know, even if you sign a player for 5 years, if they're going to want to leave or not at the end of the season, you could do, right? So I don't care about that. I only focus on this season now. I'm over the thing where I expect players to be loyal servants. They never will be. So if we could get the best out of a player for a year, like we did with Jesse Lingard, that'd never happen again. But he was fantastic for a year and he pretty much got us into Europe. And you know where that led. If we could get someone like Harvey Elliott, who would have I believe he would have a massive impact at West Ham. With his mate to keep him, because he's young, with his 22-year-old mate. They could room together, everything would be lovely. Then go out partying in Romford together. What a fantastic life, yeah. Tyler Morton, very promising, but a couple of places away from the first team at Liverpool. But do not let that catch your vision. Just because they're not in the first team at Liverpool does not mean they're not good enough for the first team.
They're both very good players. They're both very good players, and they would offer a lot for West Ham. Totally agree with you. But comment that Andrew's made here. Looking forward to see how Potsy does this season. Me too. I think we both are. We're in agreement with this. I want to see him. I want to see him actually get thrown into the first team, if I'm being honest with you. I do.
Yeah. I think he will in America, Chris. I think he will in America. And I'm really looking forward to that American tour and all those iconic stadiums. But also, the main thing is, we're probably not going to have many new players by then. So we'll be watching a lot of kids. We will see Earthy. We will see Lewis Alford. We'll see Potts. We'll see a number of people.
So Callum Marshall was travelling as well.
Marshall as well, yeah. So I think that'll be a really good time. For once, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be played on good surfaces in good arenas against proper teams, apart from Man United, with probably pretty full stadiums. What is not to like about that? And it's free on telly as well. So what's to like? Can we just do a deep dive in Championship and leave the primary donners or the prima donnas with attitude problems well alone? Yes. I don't want any more prima donnas with attitude problems. I would rather sign unglamorous players, not people that are playing for bloody Juventus and a move to West Ham is seen as a step down to them or they're doing us a favour. Nah, sod that. Sod that. I've had enough of that. Someone said the other day, I think it was Stel, he went through all the big glamour name signings that we've made so far. They've all ended in disaster. You know, all of them. They've all left apart from Paqueta, and he would have left already. He would have left. Don't forget.
Yeah, quite possibly. I mean, I think the only player that we signed from Juventus, actually, I mean, just off the top of my head, was probably Ogbonna, and he proved to be a bit of a ledge for West Ham, didn't he? He wasn't a big signing, was he? Yeah.
I don't think his mate had come with him as well. Well, he's not his mate, but Obiang. I think he was a good player as well. There was two good signings then.
Pedro Obiang, yeah, he didn't come from Juve, though, did he?
No, he didn't. I was just saying he arrived at the same time, didn't he? We got Obiang and Ogbonna. I remember that because I was just, you know, I didn't know him and never seen him. I was wondering which one was which. It took me a while.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, Jim, I totally agree with you on this one. I mean, I think if he stays fit, crazy season, but I think he could be incredibly effective for us. I really, really do, actually. I'm looking forward to it because he's looking, from everything, you've seen all the pictures of him, he's looking trim, he's looking in really, really good shape.
He's got a point to prove. He's got a point to prove.
Oh, yeah, he does. And I think he knows that. I think he really knows. I think he's hungry to do well. Because if you look at it from his perspective, I mean, crikey, I mean, he was injured for so much last season. He doesn't want anyone doubting his ability. He doesn't. And I think, you know, imagine you're in a position, you're going to want to prove yourself. I think he will do very well should he stay fit. Totally.
As I said the other day, right? Well, yesterday when we did that show, it don't matter what you say on here. You can say thousands of words in a show. You say one thing, somebody sits at home and judges you. Look, Hyatt and Pat gave us nothing before they left. Did I say that, mate? And Pat's still here. Primary donners, though. What are primary donners? Yeah, Ooh.
I think Claire's been on one too many shandies tonight, hasn't she?
I think she has. She's pissed.
Back on the beers. On the beers.
I'm on the cider. I've got a cut. Kiwi and lime. It's a bit minging, actually. Old mouth cider. Yeah.
I can't drink. I was going to, but I can't because I'm on medication, you know.
This is Ryan down in Oz. How you doing, Ryan? I will take balance over anything now just to get some stability for the season. 100%. But I said the other day, I don't want to get relegated, but I'd take a relegation struggle if we had a young team who gave it every ounce of what they had to make the system work, to represent the club, to do what, to try and make us proud, pick up enough wins to do it. But what's been missing for me the last couple of years is I've had no relationship with that team, right? Since after Prague, I've felt no connection with that team. Prague was the last time I felt it.
Well, so we need that back. I don't think got much of a connection. And the balance thing, I totally agree with. And I was saying this the other day, and it kind of goes back to the Hudus, because I call him Hudus.
Hudus.
Yeah, again, like two right wingers. We were trying to shoehorn him in so many other different positions that weren't working. So actually, by getting rid of him, having Bowen as our mainstay right winger.
Yeah. Oh, look, he's a troll, this Espen by. Look, might not be happy for you, mate. Fuck off. Don't Matt Claire. Right, anyway.
But anyway, my point being is that money should be, could be and should be reinvested into other areas of the pitch, which will give us that balance, and that will make us a better team in general. Even though we've lost a very, very talented player in Kudus, he didn't turn up, and I think people are starting to realise this now. Everything that he's done since he's left West Ham, the Tottenham presser and I only wanted Spurs and all that crap. I mean, come on. That speaks measures of the man's character. It speaks 100%. Measures in terms of how he conducted himself last season.
How much he hurts us, how much he upsets us. And it was so obvious and again, I don't want to start dwelling on this if you went to games and stuff, but you did see a lot more of his bad behaviour if you went to games. By bad behaviour, I meant he was not committed at all, not one iota.
He had some games, but they were few and far between, Gal. You're probably right. But yeah, I mean, so I'm really not bothered about it. I'm genuinely not. I'm over it. So let's just move on from Hoodoos.
Yeah. So look, lovely. The trolls are out. It's amazing how choosing to have Happy July and just be happy and upbeat and try to look forward to West Ham doing well and support the team really pisses some people off. I'm sorry if that's you. Don't watch. Yeah. Right. Anyway, let's go on. Let's stop reacting to the trolls, Chris. I've had like a bottle of cider, and I'm getting all feisty. You know what I mean? So it's clear. Right. So let's have a look at the next one. Yeah. So we've done Tyler Morton and Harvey Elliott. This one will make people happy. Now look, I will be unhappy for a minute while I talk about this one. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, 28 years old, 6'2". What? 3 goals in 3 years. Fell off a cliff several years ago. Now cannot produce. We've seen him play against us. He was woeful. The old Dominic Calvert-Lewin was actually a decent player. He had pace, he had strength, he had positioning, he was good in the air. And then something happened with that guy where he just went completely missing. To my disappointment, I read that Martin Allen saying, "Oh, it's a really good opportunity to get a proven England player." 3 goals in 3 seasons, Martin. But then he went on to suggest maybe a pay-as-you-score deal. Now, where's Chris gone? Can you still see me? Oh, you can see me, right? You can see me. Oh, he's coming back. He's coming back. Dodgy new high-speed broadband, Chris. He's having issues. He's having issues. I'll carry on talking anyway. So, you confirm you can still hear me and everything, yeah? So, yeah, look, let's carry on as if everything is working fine. Right, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, that's a big no from me. That is a big, big no from me. I do not want him. If they wanted to pay him a couple of grand a week to get fit, give it a go, and then if you're successful, like scoring goals, you know, some sort of deal like that, which they might end up doing with Antonio, which I don't think they should do. You know, I've got much more affection for Antonio than I have for Calvert-Lewin. I think it's a bit of a pointless exercise with Calvert-Lewin. I don't know why we're even considering it. Can you hear it? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you fine, mate. Sorry, I was going a little bit wrong then. You know, everything was going a bit tits up for me just then. My little sign that I had behind the wall, that fell down. I don't know what was going on with it. Everything was just blowing up and breaking. So yeah, no, I had to.
Is your shed haunted, Chris? Is it haunted? Is it haunted? You got
my bloody sign just fell off the wall, mate. I'm not happy about it. I'm going to have to sort that out.
Send it back. Send it back. It's ridiculous.
No, I'm not sending it. I like that actually. It's going to go back on the wall.
Before we move on, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, you want him, don't you?
Oh yeah, he's my #1 target girl. I've been after him for years. No, I don't want him. What was it? 3 goals in 2 seasons or something stupid? No, I don't want him at all. You're having a laugh.
Thanks,
no way.
Yeah, I think we shouldn't be honestly. No. I wouldn't mind if it was an older striker who's kind of run out of road at his current club, but he's done well up until now. I don't know who I'm describing, by the way, but you know, and he just wants a season where he's going to earn a few quid, carry on working hard, and get some important goals. That's fine. This guy's stopped scoring. He ain't a striker anymore. And I've got to be honest, Antonio wasn't before he got injured. He stopped scoring ages ago. He added more things to the game than just goals. I'll admit that. He took players, you know, he utilised defenders. He dragged defenders that way and stuff like that. He beat them up. But he wasn't scoring goals. You couldn't really describe him as a prolific striker. He stopped being that. He was quite prolific at one time, Antonio. Unorthodox, but prolific for him anyway. That died off. So you're talking about, you know, in this same article, they were talking about us potentially giving Antonio a contract and Calvert-Lewin. Now, that's the sort of thing that would bring, those sort of deals would bring a very sharp end to Happy July, let me tell you. But for now, I'm just going to put it down as bullshit and carry on. What do you reckon?
I actually think that Antonio will return. I mean, he's practically still with West Ham anyway, but I've got a distinct feeling that he will be.
Would you? Vardy?
What? Take on Vardy? No, I wouldn't. What is he? 39 years old?
Yeah, but he's just the player I described.
No, I don't want Vardy.
He still scored goals in the Premier League. He'd still score goals this year off the bench, right?
Yeah, but is that what we're looking for?
No.
Well, exactly. I mean, Christ Almighty, Nicholas Füllkrug is 33. Yeah, and let's say we look at Jamie Vardy, that's 39. We've got Mikel Antonio potentially re-signing for West Ham. He's 35. Christ almighty, we can't just sign 3 bench players. We need to get someone that's starting games and can play actually 90 minutes rather than 9 minutes.
Chris, obviously not with Antonio. I don't expect to sign Antonio. It can't happen, can it?
I think it will. I think it will happen, Gal. Honestly, I think he will re-sign for us.
No. Right. Anyway, let's move on. Yahya Fofana. You mentioned him the other day, right? 24 years old, 6'4", Angers, Ivory Coast, 18 caps, 10 million, bargain. This is not the one who had the dodgy record. This one had a decent record, didn't he? It was the German one that was a bit ropey. The 6.5 million geezer,
yeah, flaps on crosses, crap shot stopper, not good on the ball. Yeah, really good player. No, he's not that guy. This guy, I think was very, very good in a very poor team at the bottom of Liga 1. But again, I don't know a great deal about him other than the fact that we were linked with him, and apparently we still are being linked with him. So I don't know.
Right, Vardy, if we bought in a young striker. Because 2 strikers probably ain't enough for a Premier League season and cup runs and all those cup finals we're going to get to. So you need strength in depth, right? So what I would do is we've got Fulkrug already, he'd be fine. We'd bring in another striker with a bit of pace to complement Fulkrug. That's fine. That's 2 first-choice strikers. If on top of that, to supplement those 2, you offered me Vardy, I'd take it. There you go. Not with Antonio, though. You cannot have a load of old players. You can't.
Be like Dad's Army on the bench, mate. We can't be doing that. Yeah. I mean, I hear what you're saying about Vardy because he's got the ability to still score goals. He proved it last season. He's still a very good finisher. But I mean, would he suit our system? Would he suit the system that Potter plays? That's the question. And I don't know, because I think based on how Potter has played so far, I can't see how he would. I think we need someone a bit more robust, someone a bit more stronger, showing a bit more physicality up front. So. Yeah, maybe bench player coming off, for the last 10, 15 minutes. Yeah, totally. I'd be actually okay with that. I would be okay with that, actually.
We're agreed, Chris. We're aligned. We're aligned on him being our third choice striker. That's fine. Right now, sort of. So he would that guy Fofana would actually be a reasonable fit. No big injuries. By the way, there's something in common with all these players we've spoken about tonight. There's been quite a few, right? So. From Diouf to Martinez to McAtee to Hall, Nick Jackson, Nick Jackson, Jude, Harvey Elliott, Tyler Morton, forget Dominic Calvert-Lewin, one including Fofana. So all those young players, there's not a bad injury amongst them all. Harvey Elliott was the worst one with an ankle break, but that was a couple of years ago in 2021, so we don't worry about that. That's fine. So when you referred to that great summer where Pardew signed all those great players, the one thing I remember, the rule was he had to have a fantastic injury record or he wouldn't consider him. And that really paid dividends. And I hope that kind of principle is being put in motion by Potter as well, right? The only other news story out there in terms of ins and outs at the moment is Lucas Paqueta with a 40 million euro price on his head for Saudi, because they're the owners who can afford to pay it. I'd love to see if he gets let off, and that is the word on the street this week from some quite good sources, that he's about to be found innocent of all charges. Now, if that is the case, I would really like to see a happy, stress-free, weight lifted off his shoulders Lucas Paqueta for one more season at West Ham, because I think he could be the difference between a relegation struggle and sort of halfway out the league, right? Imagine seeing him playing with a smile on his face again like he used to. That naughty bastard to be back again, right?
100%. I'd love to see Paqueta stay for another season and be the Paqueta that we originally signed in the first season. That guy 100%. That can thread a pass, that guy that can make something special happen. The flip of a coin. You just would love to see that, but I don't see any reasons why he wouldn't. I mean, maybe he just wants to get out of the Premier League. If he went to another Premier League club, I'd be very disappointed. If he went to Brazil or he went to another team in a different league, then I would understand that to some extent, because I think he's had a bit of a tough ride for the last couple of seasons. So I would understand, but I really would like to see him stay like you, because he could be that difference. I mean, he really, really could be.
It's really like you, because I think you're the one that made this sort of call in the first place. I was saying he was going to, we'll let him go and whatever. I kind of agree with what you were saying originally on this one now, because why not? Why not? He does kind of owe us. He does. He does owe us.
I think so.
Yeah.
We stood by him, Gal. We stood by him.
We
So I think he absolutely does, and I do think that he's got some affinity with West Ham as well. Unlike people like Kudus, I think he genuinely does like playing for West Ham. I think he respects the fans, and it wouldn't altogether surprise me that he would commit for one season. It wouldn't surprise me, Gal.
If you remember what he said once about the West Ham fans, he said they're a little bit crazy like me, right? There's a bit of a rapport between him and the fans. You can see it. There's a bit of love there, right? So just one more season on the basis that you agree to sell him back to Brazil next summer. Yeah, that'd be perfect for me.
I think so. And I think he could leave West Ham with his head held high, with all of the respect for the fans as well. Because one good season to win his career at West Ham, I'd be so happy with that. I'd like to think that he would do that, but we shall see.
Someone earlier posted what it was. It was from the moment Bowen, that ball, it was already in the back of the net. It was from the start of the celebration from that winning goal all the way until it eventually would never calm down. But it was a close-up of all the crowd from the goal down to the corner flag where they celebrated. That's where I was. I was like halfway down there, a few rows back. I haven't found myself yet because I was looking at it on my phone. But honestly, that was the wildest celebration in Prague over that goal. It was mad, and it went on for so long. You know, in the end, they wanted to shut the ground. It was like FIFA was saying, "Oh, you've run out of your time."
I mean, you can't. I just love watching it back. You just could never ever get bored of it.
I've never seen that shot before, though, Chris. This one, I'll see if I can get it because I can probably show it on here.
I've seen it. I've seen you shared it earlier on the chat. Didn't you? It was on from the right hand side, as opposed to most of them, which are coming from the left hand side of the goal. But going back to this comment that Kat has made here about Paqueta, I've heard the same thing as well, actually, in terms of how he is with the fans. He's generally very, very, very good, and also actually Alvarez as well. And I don't know how true this is, but apparently he put a statement up this week, didn't he, that he is committed to West Ham. I don't know if that's factually true, but that's what
I haven't heard a record of it, Chris. But I would love that to be true because I would love him to be one of the centre halves, because that is surely a way that Potter could win him over. Would say, look, you're like
one of the centre halves.
Yeah, like he plays for Mexico. He plays centre back for Mexico. He was player of the fucking tournament for Mexico.
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
I don't think I'd want him at centre back, Gal. I don't know, mate. I'm not sure.
He was player of the tournament, got rave reviews everywhere over his performances in that Gold Cup, and he scored the winning goal as well, right?
And he was playing at centre back for the whole tournament.
Back, well, I know he's playing it in the final, but yeah, apparently for the tournament. That's what I read. Now, if he can do that, I think he might. The only problem is, I think he might kill a few strikers inadvertently, not deliberately. Right.
Well, and he's let's be honest, he's a bit rash and late in the challenge sometimes, and I think that would be a bit of a disaster for me. I mean, he may have been player of the tournament, out in South America, but playing in the Premier League's a whole different ball game, quite literally.
It is.
For me, I'd rather him play in the middle. I'd rather have him as a holding midfielder on his own. That's the position.
His problem, Chris, is when people get in behind him. He does it. He's fine with when he can see the game in front of him. And I don't know how it works or how he plays. I didn't watch any Mexico games. But I would be willing, only if he 100% committed to the club, the team, and Potter, and to come in and be a grown-up and take fucking responsibility. If he did that, I would be willing, because I do believe last year when he came on occasionally, and for some games, I think he put in twice as much effort as Kudus. He wasn't very good, but he put in twice as much effort for the game, and he probably performed in 6 or 7 games instead of the 3 that Kudus did, right? So there you go.
Yeah, I'd like to stay.
JW ain't going to be here, Septic. He ain't going to be here, right? He ain't going to be here. And really, it's down to Potter, who plays a holding midfielder. He's brought in as a holding midfielder in the Moyes system.
Just to interject there, do you really believe that JWP won't be here? Because I'm worried that he will be.
Well, he won't be a starter, that's for sure. I mean, he spent a lot of the end of the season on the bench, didn't he? He even started putting Rodriguez back in, and we turned and I was really impressed with the way he used Rodriguez. Because Lopetegui just fucking hung him out to dry, Rodriguez, and he put him in a position where he was just exposed for pace big time. Well, Potter didn't do that, and he looked good at Man U. You were there, didn't he? He looked good.
He was one of the best players on the pitch for us that day.
He absolutely was. He looked quality. He ain't going to look like that against everybody, but against Man U, it was absolutely the right player to put in the middle there. And I apply that to every player that ends up in the squad. include JWP. Actually, there might be a game against the fucking bottom club, whatever, where he'll be of use. But he should never ever be a regular fixture in our team. I think he's weak. I think he's a bit of a bottler. I think he plays safe. He's got no ambition. That is a reflection on how much bottle he's got. He's afraid to play a forward pass, so he just plays it simple. It's the easiest player to play against in the world, right?
But is that, okay, and I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you here, but is that because Potter is asking him to play that type of game? I don't know the answer to that. I don't.
This, what Gaz says here, is an absolute flaw in the argument for Alvarez playing as a centre-back. He tried to split the defenders in that Chelsea game and he got fucking rinsed.
Yeah, by Nicholas Jackson, by all accounts as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, that is what came to mind immediately, Gaz, when I said it. But at the same time, I'd like to have a look at the Mexico games and see how he played as a centre half. What did he do? What was his role?
I don't know. I didn't watch him, so
because you just got to say, with that Lopetegui at times, especially early on, we were just leaving ourselves exposed, and so it's difficult to pick out one person and give them all the blame because just the system was up the spout, wasn't it? Right. So anyway, look, if he stays, fantastic. I would be really optimistic of a top half finish if he stayed, Paqueta. I think he's a difference a lot of the time. But if he leaves, we'll get about 40 million for him if he gets let off. So that's good as well, right?
If you had a choice, Gal, just a question before you ask me that, right? So, bearing in mind what we said about Potts, Freddie Potts,
yes.
If you had a choice between playing Freddie Potts starting the season as a holding midfielder or Alvarez, what would you do? Or would you play them both? Would you play them both? Would you play...
As it stands at the moment, I have not seen Alvarez commit himself to the club or Potter. I'm willing to let him do that. I haven't written him off completely. I do think he's a good player, but as it stands at the moment, I'd give it to Potts.
Yeah,
that's where I am.
Would you play them together though? Because can Potts play slightly more advanced? Because imagine like a midfield three of say, let's say Alvarez, Potts slightly more advanced with Paqueta. Would that work?
Maybe. This is
because you've got more energy in there as well. You know, with the youth of Potts in there as well, can offer us a bit more than say JWP as an example. I mean, I'm just saying, I do want to see a team with Potts in it next season. He is the one player out of all of the youngsters we've got coming through that I really want to see start more games next season and really cement a place in that team.
This is a worry for me. That Sullivan won't keep Souček as a rotation player. Look, you don't just need 11 players. As we know, Trod, you need a squad of at least 16, 18 usable players who can be rotated for different opponents. And he is an important part in that. And why should we sell between 9 and, he scored like 11 goals last year, didn't he? I was saying he's always around 10 anyway. So, why should we sell? Why should we sell that many goals to one of our rivals? Like, why should we give that, for instance, to Everton or to Leeds? In my opinion, it's stupid.
Yeah. Well, yeah, 100%. I mean, Everton are a rival of ours, actually. When you look at where they are in, where they'll be kind of in or amongst next season in the league table, I think they'll be very similar to West Ham. I think they're going to find it difficult, particularly playing in a new stadium. But giving them Souček, no, definitely not.
I think we will get bids for these players like Alvarez and co. Once we start doing a bit of business ourselves, because I think at the moment people are still under the impression we're not able to do business, and if you hold on long enough you might get a bargain. I could just get a feeling that's what they're doing at the moment. Just want to round up the transfer news, Chris, because there's like a few stories that I just don't believe. First of all, Polina has come back, age 30, cost 40 million. We ain't going for him.
Ex-Fulham midfielder you're talking about.
Fulham and someone else interested, really. Douglas Luiz, I can't see that. Can you?
Well, he's injury prone, so I can see it. But all jokes aside, no, I can't see it. But
the club denied it, which means we've put a bid in, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. This is the thing. It's awful to say this, but every time we're linked with an injury-prone player, I feel like there's more truth in it than there isn't, because we're renowned for it. But no, I don't think that would not be a good move for us. How old is he now? He must be nearly 30, surely, if not over 30.
I don't want players like that, and most importantly, like I said earlier, I don't want people who are going to come in from a big old club like Juventus looking like they're going to do us a favour, and I don't want that. I want commitment. I want energy. I want fitness Talking of fitness,
thinking they've basically taken a step down and we're lucky to have them type of attitude. Yeah, no, we don't need any of that nonsense.
Yatesy, that is my tip for success this season. My
At
tips
West
don't
Ham?
usually work out, by the way, but that's my tip.
At West Ham?
Yes.
Disagree.
I think he's an incredible talent. If he, you know what it is a lot of the time when they're given a little chance is if they're dropped into the right, game in the right context, the right scenario where they can flourish. You see the best of them. Suddenly their career's off and running, right? All too often, they're thrown on at the end of a game when we're either running it down, they haven't got a chance to impress.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, what I'm hoping in America is they will get a fair bit of chunky game time against good opposition, right?
Yeah, I mean, let me tell you, I agree with you in the sense that I think Lewis Orford is one hell of a prospect, and we said it on the last show. I really rate him. I rate him higher than I do George Earthy. Honestly, yes. I do. But I just don't believe that this is going to be the season where he's going to break through at West Ham. I think he does need that loan spell, and I think that will then give him the opportunity to essentially get into our team next season, not this season. He might get the odd appearance here or there. I just don't see this being a breakthrough season for him at West Ham. Maybe at a Championship club, but I agree he is definitely a talent.
I think there are certain players who are ready to be thrown in. That would be Potts. That would be Guilherme. Definitely Somerville. He's way past that. And there are certain players who do need to be drip fed in. I agree with you, and that would be Earthy. That would maybe be what's his name? Who I mentioned, Lewis Orford. Might be the centre half, Casey. Right, there are so many good talented players there that might come good, right? Guilherme, yeah, look, he was getting better and better. I think he just needed a bit of luck, to be honest, because some of those runs he made, little cameos, the defenders couldn't get near him. But it was just that, he either passed it to the wrong player or he hit it just about wide or something like that. But he's got something about him, the kid, which is why I'm going to put his photo back on the wall. Although I boxed him last time, didn't I? So,
mate, I was kind of blowing a bit hot and cold with Guilherme last season. I was questioning whether or not he was actually good enough because he wasn't getting any game time. But as he was starting to be introduced more towards the back end and he was getting these little cameo appearances, I could see something there. But the problem with him, and I feel sorry for him a little bit, because when you're only getting like 5 or 10 minute spells, it's so hard to influence a game. And it is. And so in his mind, he's going to be thinking, right, I really need to do something quite special here, for the manager to take note, for the supporters to take note and realise that I'm a player. That's a lot of pressure on a young kid thinking I've got 5 minutes to make an impression. That's difficult. So I really hope, again, in pre-season, that he gets an opportunity to play a lot of pre-season games with the first team. That hopefully, I'd love to see him come into West Ham. But again, it doesn't deter away from the problem that he's a right winger again, Gal. So what does that mean? We're going to shoehorn him into a left wing position? It's just...
I did mention this a while ago. For his club in Brazil, he did actually play right wing back a fair bit.
So I know you did.
He could be a backup for AWB, right?
I want to see. I'd love to see a young Brazilian superstar, like Guilherme was being touted as.
Yes.
Actually playing games for us, not just coming off the bench all the time or being a backup player. You just can't. It sounds good, doesn't it? It sounds good, doesn't it?
Just how fucking incompetent Sullivan is, right? Wouldn't you love him to just set it alight and end up being worth a couple of $100 million, right? After he tried to get rid of him for peanuts, right? Would be brilliant, amazing. Mate, little things keep me entertained like that, right? Okay, look, the last one, Chris. We've covered a lot of players, but this is one Takahiro Tomoyasu, the older Arsenal player who played 30 games 3 seasons running until last season when he got serious injury. Injury. He's only 26 years old. Just had his contract ended by mutual consent. He came from Bologna. They paid about 16 to 20 million, whatever. Left back. Centre back, right back and centre back. His primary is right back. He can play left back. Can't play centre back. That's an error. But he's fucked. He's still not fit. So why are they linking us with him unless he is nearly fit? Don't know.
Well, no, mate. I must say, I really like Tomoyasu. I think he's a cracking player.
He was good.
Again, because I follow Japanese football players. I do.
Yeah.
And I think I hated him being at Arsenal because I like him and I think he's a good player. But of course, the injury thing. I mean, unless it's something that...
Is it a career ender? That's what I'm thinking.
I don't know. I don't know, but I know he's been out for quite a while. So it is a concern. But I mean, if he is in a position whereby, I mean, he's ready to go, and he just needs a pre-season under his belt, and but again, I just don't understand though, and I can't help but some of these players that we're being linked with, it's always in positions where really we don't necessarily have a problem.
Yes.
We don't. Right wing, right back. I mean, we've got players. Yeah, but our best players are in those positions, Gal. Right wing and right back. I mean, goalkeeper, we need to address that. But I don't feel like we're addressing the situation much up front. We're not being linked with enough strikers that I think are actually realistic targets for us.
No.
We're not. I'm delighted, by the way, that Jonathan David ended up at Juventus, because I was bored stiff of people still banging on about him. We were talking about him for ages. He was never going to join West Ham. I think the only way we could have ever got him is if we'd put money down on the table, back in January. And then maybe Lille would have been more open to the idea.
In January, Chris, when we were talking about him a lot, weren't we? Because he was coming every week, wasn't he? And, we knew it was bullshit, right? We knew it was bullshit. We saw it was coming from. And we called it out as bullshit. And people ranted on us at the time. How do you know it's bullshit? Of course he's coming. So says. Yeah, it's bullshit. Yeah. So
I mean, I wanted to. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I put videos out saying, why don't we go for him? Because I thought ideal opportunity, free transfer. Just put some money down now, so the club can actually recoup something rather than getting letting go for nothing. But we wouldn't do that. Of course, we wouldn't. It's crazy. But I'm kind of glad that one's done, so we can stop talking about him again now. But I just feel like, as I said, we're not addressing problematic areas enough for me. We're not. I just still feel that central midfield, striker.
Yes.
I don't know. I do hope that the Onyedika rumour still. Onyedika thing happens. I really, really hope that one happens. And I also hope that the El Hadj Malik Diouf one happens as well, because I think those are two areas where we do need to strengthen, without question. And that could really help balance our team out.
I agree. I hope the kids progress next season, but I have my doubts, as the likes of Carrick, Cole, Ferdinand, Johnson, Defoe, Lampard, we're all doing the beers at the same or similar age. Yeah, slightly, They kind of overlapped, didn't they? But that was when we just got relegated and had to sell a load of them, didn't we? Let's hope that don't happen, because that would be a fucking travesty if we have to sell all this. What would be good about getting relegated? And nothing good about getting relegated, really. But what might be good is it would give the opportunity. You remember when we went down and we brought Pardew in? That was when Noble emerged. Would Noble have got his chance to create himself as a Premier League player? Probably would, because he's a good player. But would he have got so much game time as a youngster as he got playing in the Championship? That's the thing. So it could be good. It could be good for some of those youngsters.
We gave a lot of youngsters a chance back then, though. You talk about Tonks, you talk about Anton. Even further back, people like Elliot Ward and stuff like that. They all got a chance. Reece Burke, all of those players got a chance at West Ham. Where, invariably, if we were in the Premier League, they probably wouldn't have had that chance. So you're probably right. But I do think Noble was the exception, because he was obviously a much more talented player than some of those other boys that didn't quite make the grade and went down the leagues. But maybe that could be something. It'll bring back the kind of raw essence of what West Ham are about, bringing through young players that actually really play with pride, with meaning. They play for the badge, they play with passion. And that's the one thing that we need going into this season, which is why I want Potts to break through. Because that is the one position in the middle of the park where you want someone to really grab the game by the scruff of the neck in that midfield role. And I think he could be a good player for us. He loves West Ham. He's all family at West Ham. I mean, his brother played for West Ham briefly. I know he went down the leagues, played for Luton. His dad's a West Ham legend. Everything about him, you just want it to work, don't you? Because you know that he is West Ham through and through. So it will mean something to him, so much more than it will for anyone else.
I love having a Potsy in the team. It's been a long time since we had a Potsy in the team,
Yeah.
Imagine if he scored on his debut. Imagine what he'd say to his dad.
Man, it's stuff that dreams are made of, though, isn't it, really? Yeah. I mean, it is.
But I said to me and my cousin Paul, we said to Steve Potts when we first time we spoke to him and Kevin Keane over there, said Paul said to him, I think, he said, you should launch a new merchandise to say, I was there when Potsy scored. One goal.
Whole City game, wasn't it? Was it?
Yeah, one goal from miles out went through the keeper's hands, didn't it?
I remember when I saw West Ham play against Liverpool at Upton Park in '95. I remember it so clearly. And Stevie Potts had a shot from about 30 yards. David James tipped it over. It would have been a banger. I remember all the fans were like, Jesus, did he just do that? But then again, I thought maybe he might get a goal. No, never got a goal for us again. Never did.
No. I think let's talk about the final subject. I think we've done on transfers and rumours and gossip, haven't we? We've done like hour and 24 minutes on that already. Yeah, there's nothing else, is there? I think we've swept up the lot, right?
I think so. I think so. But just to summarise on those links, the ones that I do feel that have more, I don't know, that I think will happen. I do think the El Hadj Malik Youth one will happen, and I think it will happen very soon, in my opinion. I also believe that I've got a feeling that the Onyedika Dicker thing's going to happen as well.
I do too.
Honestly,
I do too. Yeah.
Those two players, and if they come in,
there's no way he ain't coming.
Who?
There's no way Onyedika Dicker is not coming.
Stop it now. Stop it. We've already got Cummins.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would be delighted, because of all of those players you've mentioned that we discussed tonight, aside from, Dominic Calvert-Lewin and some of the old boys, we are linked with predominantly more younger players, and that excites me. That does excite me. Yeah. So I'm actually pretty pleased. Admittedly, some of those players I hadn't heard of before, but when you look and do a bit of digging and a bit of research, they look like players that are kind of on the upwards trajectory, and that it does excite me. So yeah, if we can get on your Dicker, if we can get on your Dicker, and we can get El Hadj Malik Diouf, I'll be very happy.
Don't say that to me, Chris. Come on.
What? If we can get on your Dicker, that sounds wrong, doesn't it? Yeah, man, I don't want to be childish about this tonight.
I know.
But
right.
And a striker. 3 players, midfield, left back, striker, balance. Love it.
I want to see a team of young kids who can be, not too young. I don't want a team of bloody 18-year-olds, right? I really don't. I want a team of kids who are old enough and big enough to be able to take their chance in the Premier League, at least to play some games. I want them to be hungry. I want them to love playing for West Ham, want to succeed, have faith in the manager, because they're too young not to. They just do as they're told, right? Hopefully. And try to go out of their way and not set in their ways. They're too young for that. Go out of their way to try and make his system work. And if we do that, and if we get the right players, and we're a little bit ambitious, don't expect us to be, but if we are, it could be an okay season. Again, I'm still setting my sights low, and I advise everyone else does as well. Even if everything goes well and we have a good start, don't let it raise your hopes, right? Because you'll only end up disappointed, in my view. So should we talk about this new... so this is what I put that TikTok and YouTube short out the other night, and then took them down again, because I wasn't happy with what I said, because I got off. I did a bit more reading. I thought, I ain't really covered it properly. It was a bit off the hoof. Right, so anyway, look, this is real. It's been accepted, been voted through in the House of Commons, passes into Royal Assent very, very soon. It's going to set up this thing called the Independent Football, the IFS. What do it bloody stand for? Anyway, the IFS is the regulator body. You think I would have had that written down, wouldn't you? That's going to regulate, and this is not governed by the FA, the Premier League, UEFA, or FIFA. This is an independent government body that is going to govern football in England and Wales. They have a set of rules and laws that they will enforce on every club in the top 5 divisions of this country and Wales. Are there 5 divisions in Wales? I don't know. Right. So that's the first bit. It's going to happen. The timeline for it to happen is they expect they're building this organisation already. They expect the kind of skeleton organisation to be in place by August this year. The first thing they're going to do for a year is launch a full in-depth study of football in this country to see what else they can find, where the problems are, and everything else, because this is their job. Once that's done, August next year, again, it's the timeline, they will be notifying the clubs, saying what is expected of the clubs in terms of complying with the new set of rules. All right? So I hope that's clear. Was that clear, Chris?
Well, we've spoken about it already, so it's definitely clear to me. Yeah.
Trying to make sure I'm explaining it right, yeah? So that's kind of it. It is real. It is going to happen. That's the timeline. There is no way out of it. FIFA can't overrule it. Nor can the FA. Nor can the Premier League. Nor can the clubs. It's not optional. It's mandatory. They actually have the power to remove owners who do not comply. Doesn't matter if they hold all the shares. They can remove their ability to own and direct operations in that football club. Right?
This is really exciting stuff, Gary, right? And
Yeah.
I don't think people realise, I mean, I didn't realise until you and I had this conversation yesterday, how significant this could be for West Ham. But not just West Ham, but football in general, for every supporter out there, right? This could be, I mean, it could be groundbreaking. It really could be.
There's so much to this, and it's going to take a few minutes to go through it, right? So pay attention. Yeah. So my take on this is, if it's enforced to the letter of the laws, it's gonna just be very, very difficult for new sketchy owners, for people who come in, you know, like the Glazers at Man U, who bought the club on debt and then moved that debt onto the balance sheet, and now they're asking the fans to pay that debt back for them. That sort of stuff is not going to be allowed. Even if it's allowed under normal business rules and not breaking any business rules, it won't be allowed under the regulations of this company. You cannot, for instance, mortgage your ground. You can't. You're not allowed to. You cannot. It's all about, these are like really nice things that I wish had existed 10 years ago. It's about the legacy of your club, preserving the legacy of your club. They cannot move ground without proper independent consultation governed by them, right? And there's got to be a buy-in. They cannot change the club's colours. They cannot change the club's badge, right? This ain't a case of doing some fucking warped-spun survey and saying, oh, look, the fans agree. And that's surprising. We're going to change it. Or we're moving to Stratford. So it will stop owners from doing the things that go against fan interest. That's in principle. This is how this came about. It came about because of the Super League breakaway, the attempted Super League breakaway, because that's another thing that I'll explain in a minute. That's never going to happen now. Right? So the new rules. Let me just cover at very high level what it covers, right? In the main categories. If you want to read it, 134 pages, go read it, yeah? It's a great read, cracking read, best novel I've ever read. Yeah. So licensing system. All clubs in the top 5 tiers of English football, including the Premier League, will be required to have a license to operate. This license will be subject to a set of mandatory conditions, and they are rigorous conditions, right? But let's assume all clubs get a license. That's fine. Existing clubs. New owners and directors tests, but this also applies to existing owners and directors tests. This is a new, more stringent test, and my God, it's stringent. You should see it. Will be introduced for all football club owners and directors to ensure they are suitable custodians. The tests are extensive, really extensive. Many football club owners might struggle to meet their criteria. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Financial sustainability regulations. So again, forget all the fucking, you know, all the really confusing things that they change the rules all the time to suit Arsenal and Man United and keep, for instance, Newcastle new money, yeah, to keep them down and to stop everyone else flourishing. This is they're going to focus on a different thing. They're going to say implement IFR regulations to ensure financial sustainability of clubs and the league as a whole. This is designed to prevent clubs from getting into financial trouble, but properly look at it and say, for instance, and again, I'm just picking this out of the sky, but we've had 4 occasions in the last few years where we've needed a big cash injection in order to continue operating as a business. You know, you're talking about the Rice money, you're talking about the Kretinsky money, all been spent, the Trip money, and now the Kudus money. That all of that was needed to take the brakes off and allow us to go and spend in the transfer market. That means our debts are unsustainable, right? We're in a really bad position. Won't be allowed to do that anymore. Won't be allowed to do it. You've got to show how you're going to manage your debts. Fan engagement standards. This is great. A minimum standard of fan engagement will be mandated, not optional, giving fans a greater voice in the running of their club. So no longer will it be Karen Brady deciding, oh yeah, we'll decide, we'll get this group of people. Won't let the fans vote on it. I'll vote on it myself. And again, I'm not having a go at the people on the supporters advisory board because they did a great job winning concessions and all that sort of stuff, right? So well done. But they're not elected by the fans as their representatives. And that is the kind of people who should be elected to do that role. Yeah. It's the only fair way to do it. And guess what? The club's got to talk to them. The club's got to listen to them. The club's not allowed to get them to sign NDAs about their discussions, right? Club heritage protection is what I said before. Clubs will be required to seek pre-approval from the IFR before making any changes to the club's heritage, such as selling or relocating the stadium or changing the club's name, colours or crest. We'd still have our old fucking badge, our old stadium, you know? Honestly, prohibition on unsanctioned competitions. This is about the IFR will have the power to prevent clubs from joining breakaway leagues that are not deemed to be fair and meritocratic, and which would threaten the stability of English football. This is about protecting English football above all else, and I love it. Right? Financial. This is one Premier League clubs are not going to like. Sullivan's going to hate it. I see why Brady took the time out to go to the Lords now, because there's a lot in here she don't like. Financial distribution intervention. As a last result, the IFR will have the power to intervene in how money is distributed throughout the football pyramid to ensure the financial sustainability of the lower leagues. I think that's great. We shouldn't just take care of ourselves and not worry what happens in you know, from the Championship onwards. For a start, we've been down there a few times. Yeah. So how will this affect the Premier League clubs and their fans? For Premier League clubs themselves, increased scrutiny and regulation, clubs will face greater oversight of their financial and operational activities, and we need to demonstrate financial sustainability to the IFR to maintain their license. Strict ownership rules. The new owners and directors will make it harder for unsuitable individuals or groups to take control of clubs. That is amazing, right? Amazing.
That is massive, right? Yeah. I think you've got to put an emphasis on that point, Gal, because that is huge. You know, for anyone that is going on, and like we all are, as all fans are going on about sell it out, well, think about that for a second. Think about that one point that you've just said.
I can't, I'd have to do a whole show on the criteria against what makes someone a suitable person. And I'm definitely not going to say anything personal on here, but, you know, it is very, very clear that there are some high bars in there that many, you know, football club owners in the Premier League might struggle to reach. Let's put it like that.
Many owners will struggle to reach, let alone West Ham, by the way. So
and if they
I think this is massive news.
And it ain't just the owners, Chris. The owner, and by the way, it ain't just the owner, like the rich bloke who owns the shares. It's whoever is having influence on the running of that club.
Yeah.
If they decide an owner's got to be removed and the license removed from that owner, therefore he can't run the club, they put their own trustee in to run the club, to check it's run properly. So no putting your son in, as someone said in response to what I posted yesterday. It can't happen. Yeah, it's about running the clubs properly. They won't let you, if you're not running the club properly or you're not a suitable person, they won't let you put someone in so you can remotely manage it. It doesn't work like that, because in effect you would still be the owner operating and making decisions on behalf of that club, but you'll be doing it through a proxy, right? So they won't let you do that. And also it applies to what are called officers, and officers are directors. Just look at the list of directors we've got in our boardroom. It's comical.
It is comical. Yeah, that's the word, mate.
Same test, same high bar, yeah? Limited autonomy for clubs from now on. They're not islands who can do their own thing. Limited autonomy. What a great, beautiful. The requirement for IFR approval for major decisions such as stadium sales or joining new competitions will reduce the autonomy of club owners. Beautiful, right? Because it never bothers us anyway. We want that. Don't want fucking someone, you know, the owners that we got, we don't want them taking a load of decisions without having to answer to a regulatory body. Who's that good for? It ain't good for us.
Gary, this is bringing football back to the fans. This is what it's about.
It really is amazing. It's amazing. And the reason I feel confident that, say, for instance, Labour have brought this in, but it was started by the Tories. So I feel certain that, you know, if we do have a change of government, this ain't going to get scrapped. And by the way, no politician in their right mind would touch football because it is like the main cultural thing in this country. Yeah, and so that's why politicians are interested in helping the fans, aka the voters, right? So, so financial constraints, clubs will have to operate within the new financial sustainability regulations, which may impact their spending on transfers and wages. However, this is going to make it for fans. That's for the clubs. That's the impact on the clubs. What's the impact on the fans? Let's talk about a good bit, yeah? Greater influence. The mandated fan engagement standards will give supporters a more formal and powerful voice in their club's decision-making processes. Oh, turning me on, this is. Protection of club heritage. I won't read that again, but they cannot make unilateral changes, like without consulting by themselves. Cardiff can't turn red, for instance. The Bluebirds having a red kit.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
No rogue owners can come in and do that shit anymore. No way. Not allowed. Don't get a license, mate. Sorry, mate. Increased stability. The financial regulations are designed to prevent clubs from experiencing financial crises, which can be distressing for fans and local communities. Damn right. Prevention of Blake Whaley, seen that already. So what the wording of this is better, right? The IFR's power to block participation in unsanctioned competitions will be seen by many fans as a crucial step in protecting the integrity of the English football pyramid 100%. Because if they had done that, that would have left what was left behind of the Premier League would have been poor, and the rest of the English the rest of the football pyramid in the UK, in England, would have just fallen to pieces through lack of funding. And they didn't care. They just wanted to go away by themselves and earn as much money as they could. Well, sorry, mate, you can't do that anymore. Like, you can't come in, even if you've got 20 American owners, you can't change the rules in the Premier League because the IFR might have something to say about that. I'm sorry. Right. So that ain't happening either. There's always going to be relegation and promotion. It's the way it should work. Fairer financial distribution. This is the one that I have got no problem with whatsoever because I think it is only fair. The IFR's backstop powers on financial distribution could lead to a more equitable sharing of the Premier League's vast revenues, benefiting the entire football pyramid and ensuring the health of smaller clubs. That gets my 100% support. How about you, Chris?
I mean, again, rhetorical question, Gal. I think it's amazing, everything that you've discussed already tonight, and I'm in total agreement with it. I think it's just, as I said already, this is bringing football back to the fans the way it should be. You know, not basically losing control of our clubs, which we all do. Right? We don't have any influence over it at all these days. But this really is enabling us to have that influence now, which is fantastic. I mean, it's brilliant. It's brilliant news, and what that means as a West Ham fan, I don't think I need to spell this out to anyone. I don't think we do. We don't. We don't need to specifically talk about anything in particular in relation to the owners. But it does mean a hell of a lot of positivity coming into our club again, which could be incredible. It could be absolutely incredible. When we spoke about this last night, I must admit I couldn't quite believe it initially. I had to do a bit of research myself online.
It's got teeth.
Like I said, yeah, and I I don't tend to get too excited over much these days. I'm a bit of a pessimist, but I think this I'm quite excited about. I must admit.
Yeah. Right, so I think we're done. That's it. I just wanted to share the actual facts because I had a few back and forth on Twitter last night and a few more trolls and stuff like that, and I just thought I haven't really explained this very well, so I thought I'd do like soup to nuts today. Really try to do a comprehensive. This is what it is, and this is the effect it's gonna have. No matter what you say.
Well, you've done a very good job at it, mate. I wanted to let you talk because I think you've kind of outlined it very, very clearly. So well, let's see how this transpires, right? I mean, it's like I said before, I think this could be fairly significant.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. This could be a game changer, massive game
changer.
Oh
yeah, without question.
Yeah. Right. Well, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you everybody in the chat. Thanks, Claire, for manning the door, and Bodger for being a lookout. Thanks, Chris. Enjoy the heat tomorrow. I think there's only one more day of this heat before it cools down on Monday, right?
I'm good with it. I actually like it. I'm one of those people that I know sometimes it can be a bit uncomfortable, but I like it, mate. Come on. I mean, us Brits, we moan when it's too hot, we moan when it's too cold. For me, I'd much rather have the heat than the cold. So, yeah, I'm loving it. I mean, today I was out in the garden. I was doing a bit of sunbathing. I didn't have a choice. My back was hurting, so I was laying down and stuff, right? That's what I told the missus.
Any excuse.
It's lovely, man. Come on. As soon as that winter hits again, it's depressing. You just got to kind of just appreciate it. It is a bit uncomfortable, but in the evenings, it's not so bad. It's quite cool in the evenings now. I don't need my fan on now, actually. I don't know why I've got my fan on. I've still got it on, but no, it's I love it, mate.
There's a question from Steve here. You're going to do a phone-in show? So I'm like, yes, we will. Yes, we will. You know what it is, right? I just don't have time to change the settings and test it out. Got all the kit. Just need to do it. I'll try and do it for next week. See how it goes. Yeah.
I think also with regards to phone-ins, I think let's leave this wide open for all types of supporters. West Ham supporters, of course, to come in and have
everyone's welcome.
Exactly.
Trying to be a nice channel, right? I'm trying to be a nice channel.
I don't want to get same old people and stuff like that on here, because I know there's a lot of people that join in on the chat regularly on a regular basis, right? More than welcome to dial in, but I think it'd be great just to get a load of people that would feel comfortable to do that, because it's great to get opinions. We've all got opinions, and you know what? You know, we may agree, may disagree. That doesn't matter. Doesn't mean we're right.
Yeah, and you know, we've got Martin, who's a Brighton supporter, and he comes in to a lot of shows. You know, raises some great points, right? Don't honestly care as long as we can have a nice chat about football and people are nice. It's like the only bar that we need to meet, isn't it? So
I think so, and I think honestly, I know we've had a bit of stick over the course of the last week or so about being positive, but come on though. Yeah, I mean, come on though. Like, seriously, do you really want to feel negative? You have a choice here. You have a choice.
It is a choice. It is a choice. It's a personal choice. Yeah, for sure.
You can go down that road. You can go down that road.
Yeah.
You can go down that road of self-destruction almost, where it really winds you up. And I've been there. We've both been there. We've both been in that situation where we really wound up, and we were culpable of it last season on quite a few occasions. Yeah. But I have got to that point now, and honestly, it was like an epiphany. I just don't see the logic, and I don't see the benefit of really feeling like that. Like I've said on a few occasions recently, it serves no purpose. Yes, anger towards the board, absolutely. Do we want them? No, we don't. So let's just be clear about that. But everything else should be aimed at positivity towards the team and supporting the team that we all love. 100%. And as long as we do that, then, you know, I hope that we'll be okay.
And I'll tell you one thing as well, from someone that's been on YouTube for about 5 years now, almost anyway. And I think you feel the same on this, Chris, and that is whenever we, you know, because we kind of mistimed some of the shows when we first started doing this, and we did like post-match reviews, stuff like this, right? And we ended up having like swearing fests and fucking ranting a lot and stuff like that. That's not the intention of what we're trying to do. And I did a lot of that on you know, I didn't do a lot of it on this channel. I did some of it on this channel, a lot of it on the other channel, and I've got to say, I'm not proud of one of those videos, because when you look back at them a few days later, you feel like a bit of a muppet. So,
well, they turn into memes, and you know, you don't need to be a meme, right? You can get track. You don't necessarily need to attract that type of attention to yourself. There's no need for it. There's no benefit of it. And I like to think that we just have much more of a. Well, I like to think that we have a sensible outlook in terms of our thoughts on West Ham currently, but also West Ham moving forward. We understand every other people's opinions, but these are our opinions.
100%. But the thing is, right, just to explain, we've got as much or more passion as anyone else. We get the ump. We moan.
You should see us in the ground. For anyone that doesn't know us and sees us in the ground, seriously, like you know, we calm down when it comes to these shows, because I think actually it's needed sometimes, because even after games, when I see you, or even at halftime, we're in a real hump. But then we do take the time now to calm it down a bit, because if we start bringing that negative energy straight back to YouTube, online and social media, that doesn't do any good, in my opinion. It doesn't. I think you've got to try and objectify it sometimes a little bit and calm it down if you can, and see through some of that negativity. Some of it is absolutely clear, and we've got every right to be negative about, and so many other channels and support's got absolutely every right to do. But I just do it, and we will do it. Let's be honest, we're going to be negative next season. We wouldn't be human if we weren't. But I just think going into the season, we just need to try our hardest to focus.
We're negative by exception, Chris. We're not negative by default, and it takes a lot to get us to that stage where we find ourselves making a show fucking pissed off, right? But anyway, look, again, optimism rules, because without optimism, what you got to think it's going to be good, aren't you? That's what I'm thinking at the moment. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Give it a like. Give the video a like. We've done nearly 2 hours in a boiler not shed. That's not so hot anymore. Anything more, Chris, or should we call it a day?
Well, actually, one more thing. Actually, it's your birthday coming up, isn't it? And I need to get this right. So I was thinking of,
fuck off, right? And I'll tell you, fuck off. Go on.
Yeah, fuck off. It's your birthday coming up, and so when is your birthday? Is it next Friday? Friday. So I don't know if we're going to necessarily do a live between now and then. So I was thinking about this today. Should I? I've got you a gift. I have got you a gift, and I was wondering if I should unveil it now, so I can give it to you a bit later. I was thinking about it. I was going to get you to open it, but I thought maybe it would be a better idea that I actually do it now, because I'm a bit worried that by next week it might be too late, and you'll understand why. All right,
go on in. Go on.
So, bear with me for a second, all right?
I'm a bit worried. Has to be said.
So,
a bit worried.
There is, as we all know, and for any regular viewer of this channel would have known, Gary at the beginning of last season was, and not just last season. I also think some of the season before, you're very, very positive about one particular player that we were always in a disagreement about, and that player would be Dinos Mavropanos. Yeah, Dinos Mavropanos.
Yeah.
The 16 million pound player.
Statue of a man.
And I know that deep down you've got this underlying love and appreciation for him, because I think you always kind of change your mind on it a little bit. So I have got you a present, and I want you to put this up, because I think you need to put this up, right? And that is a signed Dinos Mavropanos jersey. Right? Can you see that? I can't even see the camera, right?
I hope it was in a cell.
It was not in a sale, but there you go, right? So you now have a
Dinos shirt.
You've got a signed Dinos Mavropanos shirt,
even if we sell him, because he's magnificent. Look, even if he ain't a very good footballer, he should be. He looks like he should be, right? He should be.
For that reason alone. But I know that you've got this, underlying love and appreciation. No, you have. So next time I see you, which may be next week, I will give this to you. And so now that everyone knows about this, I'd like to think that you'll put that, because your wall looks a little bit bare there, mate. You need something.
It does. I need to do something. I must admit, but yeah.
And I was a bit worried, because I saw the links with Mavropanos to Roma this week, and I was like, shit, is this too late? But then I also know that there's a lot of other YouTube channels. For instance, I see Stel over on the West Ham Voice. He's got Soufal behind him. There's nothing wrong with having a player that departs, right?
There isn't.
And I think for you, he will always be a bit of an iconic player, in my opinion.
Yeah, I will look back at moments of disappointment. Mostly, I will look back upon his performance against Arsenal when he played alongside Ogbonna.
Yeah,
amazing. That was his single high point, I think. But he's all right. I think he's all right. He's not the worst I've seen over there. He's just got a mistake in him, that's all. And he's a magnificent beast as well. Look at him. He's enormous.
Well, you've now got this to put up behind your wall with pride. With your little Guilherme picture as well. Okay,
hey,
it's not all about putting the best players behind you. It's not. It really isn't.
About the players you relate to, and he's it cost a lot. I know it cost a lot for the shirt, but it cost a lot in letters as well. That's what's quite impressive about that, Chris.
Well, it's not about the money.
It's the longest name in the squad, isn't it?
They charge you more per letter, apparently.
No,
seriously, I think you deserve. You actually deserve the Mavropanos shirt.
Yeah.
If anyone, don't take that the wrong way, but if anyone deserves the Mavropanos shirt, it's you. I was actually thinking of giving you my Kadu shirt, but then I sold that a while ago, and
thank God.
I actually feel so bad about that, and I do feel bad about this.
Yeah.
That Kadu shirt, it was a signed framed Kadu shirt that I had in here, right? So all of my shirts are on that side of the wall. I don't show them off anymore. I got rid of my Kadu one, and I stuck it up. And I thought, I need to get rid of this, because I knew he was leaving. I sold it a month ago, and I didn't get much for it. But what I did get for it, I still think is incredibly too high for that rat of a player. Would you have preferred Mavropanos or Kadu out of interest?
No, honestly, I've got nothing but... He's a flawed player. He's not the best. I'd rather have that shirt on my wall than some mercenary, which is what he was. Thank you, Randy.
Yeah. And by the way,
as we saw, Steve,
I might have 60. That also.
I'm not 60 yet. 4 years to go. Did he trip over signing it? Said Mark. Yeah, he might have done, actually. He might have done. Let's be honest.
But here's the beauty of the whole Mavropanos shirt that I'm giving to you, is because if he does go to Roma this week, I'll give you the shirt, and you've got to give me 50 quid. So it's perfect. It works out very well.
I'm actually buying my birthday present off you.
It's probably worth more than 50 quid, but yeah, kind of.
Yeah. But no, thanks for that. I look
very welcome
to receiving it. But
you won't be able to wear it, mate. It's too
small. Honestly, this is so personal. Look, young for 80 game. What's your secret? Fuck you, Andrew. How dare you? Terrible. What a terrible thing to say. Steve said the same thing as well. Anyway, 4 years' time, one of the most disappointing days in my life when the bus pass drops through the letterbox. Imagine what a grim day that is.
I don't want to go too depressive here, right? But it's something that I said to Amanda just earlier on, actually. So as I said to you at the top of the show, I've been watching Live Aid from 1985. I was just a kid there. I don't remember it. Yeah, amazing. Queen did one hell of a set that day, right? But so I was watching it earlier. I think it's still rolling now. But anyway,
Yeah.
I said to Amanda, it's funny because when you look in the audience and you see some of the people in the crowds, they're like my age now, and I'm 44. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was thinking,
Stop showing off.
Vaguely remember it. And this crazy thing about it is the people that were there that day are now 90 years old. Now that just makes you think, right? Like a lot of those people makes you think how fast time goes and how pointless it is to worry about the fucking menial and trivial things that we all do in life. Yeah. I mean, that's crazy to look at that and think, Christ almighty.
Life's about living. Life's about trying to have a good time. It's about experiences, isn't it?
Which is why, Gary, which is why I choose to try and live my life as much as I can do in a positive light. Because when I thought about that, I was like, that's actually true. Like 40 years ago, those people would now be 80 or 90, a lot of those people. Some of them are all past, sadly.
I got to say, though, Chris, I got to say, with me, it's kind of cumulative. So if I choose to go down a sort of negative route and be all miserable, I'll just get more and more and more and more miserable. Yeah. So it's best I just don't go down that route at all. I'm in a very happy mood. I'm in a good place. Everyone's in a good place. You know, so it's everything's good. Everything's good. 4 years time.
Try and live your life with some element of positivity. Just try and live your life with positivity, and also not just with football, but just with everything. Because at the end of the day, I say this to a lot of people, and I have this conversation with you quite frequently. We all worry about certain things in life. I'm going off subject here. I'm not talking about football specifically. But then, in the bigger scheme of things that we typically worry about today, we don't necessarily think about next week or the month after. People are so caught up in worrying about what other people think of them and all that sort of stuff. I get a lot on YouTube. Frankly speaking, I don't even give a shit. Like, I really, really don't care anymore. If I was younger, I would do. I would have taken it personally. I don't care about stuff anymore because it means nothing to me. The only things that really mean anything to me are the people that I care about, my true friends. That's it. And the people that I love, my family. That's all that matters to me. So just live your life and just push the boundaries and just go out there and do you. You
don't get another go at it, do you? And
no, you don't.
If you're a bit younger, you kind of soon fucking realise it accelerates as you get older.
It does.
It's just like, it's moved on so quickly. Talking about like Live Aid, I can remember that as if it was yesterday. Fucking ages ago now, wasn't it?
Crazy, mate. I was just a kid. But I mean, I remember it growing up, and it was still a big thing years after because it was so good. And like it's mad. But even later than that, you just think 80s doesn't seem that long ago. It doesn't, which is mental.
The owners will be gone one day. They are temporary custodians of the club. He will not be handing it down to his son, who's got no experience running businesses. It won't happen. It won't happen. I'll tell you, it will not happen. We've had some terrible owners before. Not quite as terrible as him as a person, but we've had some terrible owners before, most of them, as I explained earlier. So, but let's just end on a happy note, right? And this is Ryan's little sentiment here. There's 2 dates on your gravestone and a dash in the middle. It's what you do in the dash between dates that matters. Live life to the full. And that,
so true.
Yeah. Don't sit away moaning, being angry and shouting at people. Live life and love.
I know everyone says all this stuff and they're cliches, but it's true. I mean, it is so true. Yeah, Gary, I said this the other week. I had a friend of mine that died in the London bombings. I was supposed to meet him for a drink the week that he died. And that for me will forever haunt me because it's something that it makes you truly realize. I mean, my missus was on the same train 20 minutes before, 25 minutes before that bomb went off.
Yeah.
We were all so close to it that day.
I'm just traveling to London as well. Yeah.
And this is my point, I mean, it's weird because I hadn't seen the guy for a few years. I bumped into him a week and a half before the bombings happened. Yeah. And we were supposed to meet for a beer that week, a beer that never happened, and I sometimes, I mean, I used to think about it a lot more, but certainly every time when I really, really kind of feel a bit crap, I just think back to that and it puts things into perspective a little bit. It really, really does. Life is fragile.
It's over really before you know it, right? It's over before you know it. But look, it's not been a bad window so far. We got rid of one Judas. Now we've got to bring in some good players who want to play for us. So on that happy note, let's not sweat the small stuff. Ryan, you're full of wisdom today, for fuck's sake. So put words in your mouth. And let's be a bit upbeat and optimistic and hope for the best. What's the worst can happen if you hope for the best? It don't happen. Yeah, so what? Anyway,
absolutely.
going to go and support the team anyway, as everybody who's watching this is going to do. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Bloody late. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, people. Enjoy the last day of extreme hot sun until it comes back in about a week's time. See you soon. Come in your irons.